Hey guys, it's Chris. From a jet ski hit and run to a man impaled while spearfishing, here are 10 of the wildest and craziest things that happen when water sports go wrong. Number 10. Jet ski hit and run. How dangerous do you think a jet ski is? You probably see lots of pictures of people having a great time together out on the water. But did you know that this sport could be deadly? In one incident, a man trying to have some fun on a jet ski was killed when he got struck by a 30-foot boat. The boat was carrying around 15 passengers at the time of the incident. But what's really shocking is that even though the boat was filled with passengers, whoever was driving the vessel kept on going right after they ran over this poor guy. They pulled a hit and run and tried to flee from the scene of the crime. Even more unbelievable is that the police didn't catch these perpetrators. They offered a $5,000 reward to anyone with information that would lead to the arrest of the driver, but nothing has been done. Sounds like a case for a detective in an 80s police TV show, right? This happened in Florida, water sports capital of the US, right off the coast of Miami. And it should be a lesson to all of us. If you want to have fun, be careful or you could get run over by a boat. Number 9. Kite surfing superstar. You may recognize Cliff Simon from the program Stargate SG-1. He played the villain Baal and was a fan favorite, but unfortunately for his fans and for him and his family, he died in March of 2021 after getting into an accident on a California beach while trying to kiteboard. He was 58 years old when he went down to Topanga Beach for a bit of fun in the sun. Originally born in South Africa, Cliff was a star athlete. He was a trained swimmer and even qualified to be on the British International Olympic team back in 1984, but he never did make it to the Olympic Games and had instead joined the South African Air Force before going to work as a windsurfing instructor and then eventually as an actor. Alas, Cliff's lifelong athleticism couldn't save him from the tragedy waiting for him on the beach that day. And we don't know what exactly happened either, as his wife refused to make the details of the accident public. But considering the most frequent accidents with kitesurfing involve falling off and crashing into the water or colliding with things like rocks and boats, it's safe to say that Cliff Simon did not meet a very pleasant end. Number 8. Wakeboarding to quadriplegic. A day of wakeboarding turned into a day of horror when Brad Smeal from New Zealand shattered his C4 vertebrae and was left a quadriplegic for life. This means he's going to be in a wheelchair unless scientists in the future come up with some type of medical miracle. The accident happened in Florida when Brad tried to do a double backflip while training at the biggest wake park in the world, located at Lake Ronix in Orlando. The 27-year-old botched the flip and landed in such a way that his spinal cord was injured beyond repair. According to the Daily Mail, he only has a 2% chance of ever regaining the motor skills to the top half of his body. Imagine literally becoming a cripple for the rest of your life just because you wanted to do a backflip in the water. For Brad, that must be devastating. Ever since the accident, Brad has been recovering in Orlando Regional Medical Center. He's still trying to gain the ability to breathe without being connected to a ventilator. And for the longest time, he also suffered from a pneumonia infection. But hopefully he'll be discharged soon and can move on with his life. Brad had been a professional wakeboarder for the past decade, splitting his time between New Zealand and the United States. And sadly for Brad, it looks like his days of wakeboarding are over. Do you think scientists and doctors will ever come up with a way for quadriplegics to walk again? It could involve robotic limbs or other advanced technologies. What do you say? Tell me your opinions in the comments below. And then remember to subscribe to World List for more intense videos like this one. Number 7. Surfer lightning. Catherine Diaz, arguably the top surfer in all of El Salvador, has been killed while trying to qualify for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. And you'll never believe the way that Catherine was killed. It all happened after she entered the water at El Tunico Beach, roughly 10 miles from the capital city of San Salvador. She was on her board and she was getting ready to hit some waves, and then out of nowhere, Catherine was struck by a rogue lightning bolt and killed. A streak of lightning zipped out of the sky, crashed into Catherine's head, and the 22-year-old girl was dead on the spot. And this was tragic for countless reasons. It was devastating to the surfing community, devastating to the community in El Salvador, and of course devastating to Catherine's friends and family. Everyone expects to be eaten by a shark or stung by a jellyfish while surfing, and the last thing Catherine had been expecting was a bolt of electricity from above. Lightning strikes that kill humans are extremely rare, too. In the United States, about 50 people per year die after being hit by a bolt of lightning. And the best way to avoid a tragedy like this? When you hear thunder, get yourself inside. Number 6. Sailing race tragedy. The San Francisco Yacht Club had 5 of its members killed in a brutal accident off the coast of California back in 2012. It's been called the greatest tragedy ever in the history of the San Francisco Yacht Club, which was founded in the year 1869. A sailboat from the club had been racing around a small group of uninhabited volcanic islands called the Farallones, 28 miles from San Francisco. During the race, the sailboat accidentally crashed into some rocks sticking out from the water. This was after huge swells knocked most of the crew members overboard. By the time the boat hit the volcanic rocks, it was too late. Only 3 of the 8 crew members survived the incident, with the boat being totally wrecked and stranded on the rocks. So let this be a lesson to all of us. The ocean can be a very dangerous place. Number 5. Underwater photography. A British man was practicing a couple of his favorite hobbies while on vacation in Ibiza. These hobbies ended up getting him in deadly danger, as his unconscious body was pulled out of the ocean and paramedics failed to save his life. The tragedy happened while Kevin Smith was practicing underwater photography in a cove near the popular resort of San Antonio. He loved underwater photography and he loved snorkeling. For Kevin, there could not have been a better way to spend his evening. But things went horribly wrong when he experienced difficulty underwater. It's impossible to say exactly what happened when he was down there. He could have run out of air or accidentally swallowed some water while trying to snap a photograph. Whatever the case, the 35-year-old man drowned while taking pictures. It's probably no consolation to his family, but at least he died doing what he loved. If you died doing what you loved, what would they find you doing? Eating pizza? Maybe walking your dog? Taking photographs underwater? Tell me down in the comments section below. Number 4. Spearfish Impalement. Spearfishing is perhaps one of the most dangerous things you can do underwater. After all, you're essentially half blind in the darkness of the ocean, wielding a giant metal lance that you shoot like a harpoon. It's kind of a disaster waiting to happen, and one man was extremely lucky that he swam away from his spearfishing accident with his life. But he didn't escape totally unscathed. This guy took a spear to his face while underwater. And it's not clear exactly how the spear went through his face, but it ended up entering through his left cheek, puncturing the length of his head, and then exiting out of his right cheek. The spearfishing gun must have gone off by accident. The man, who has not been identified, shot himself through the face, but judging by the pictures, the spear somehow missed anything important. He will undoubtedly live, though not without suffering extreme discomfort and agonizing pain. And this is why you should never play with guns, especially while underwater. Would you rather be shot in the face with a spear or attacked by a shark while diving? That's just a question we may never know for sure. Number 3. Kayak rescue. In Scott County, a kayaking adventure ended in tragedy when a woman and her fiancé got into an accident while kayaking in Elkhorn Creek. The couple went over the dam unexpectedly, and then they got pulled under the water. If not for the quick thinking of a Good Samaritan, both kayakers would surely have died. J.C. King was driving home from work when he saw the accident unfold before his very eyes. He was driving alongside the Great Crossing Dam when he witnessed Eduardo Ponce and his fiancée heading straight for the brink. Eduardo managed to get out of his kayak, but the woman was stuck in hers. By the time J.C. King reached the bank to haul the floundering woman out of the water, it was too late for her would-be husband. They could do nothing but look on in horror as he was pummeled by stray logs and other debris falling over the side of the dam. His fiancée screamed his name and pleaded, but there was nothing to be done. Even firefighters had a hard time getting Eduardo out of the water when they finally arrived on the scene. The first responders did eventually get Eduardo to dry land, but it was too late. They tried to resuscitate him using CPR, but according to the Scott County coroner, he was pronounced dead at approximately 8 p.m. The young couple were supposed to be married just 2 months after this kayaking trip. Number 2. Whitewater rafting nightmare. The owners of a whitewater rafting company were jailed in 2013 following the relentless campaign of the parents of a schoolgirl from Britain who drowned after she was thrown from an overcrowded boat. The young girl was only 9 years old and she was on holiday with her family in Turkey. The holidaymakers had thought it would be fun to go rafting, but it wasn't very much fun when their raft capsized as they went down some rapids. They blamed the accident on recklessness, saying that the Turkish owners of the rafting company were negligent. and that the trip should never have been described as a family experience because it obviously wasn't suitable for children. The lobbying by the parents has since caused the rafting company to shut down and for its owners to be sent to jail. And to be honest, the owners of the company didn't have a very good case for the defense. According to the Daily Mail, it was found out that they were selling souvenir DVDs for over $40 that showed dramatic footage of rafters being tossed out of boats that capsized against rocks. These boats were designed to carry a maximum of 8 passengers but were often filled with over 12 people. That squeeze to get a few extra bucks per ride cost the owners of the company dearly, as they're rotting away in prison for nearly 6 years. And even now that they're out, it's not like there's much waiting for them because their business is gone. So do you think they deserved what they got? Or was the punishment too harsh? Number 1. Cave diving disaster. In February of 2014, 2 divers perished at a depth of over 300 feet while cave diving in Norway. The authorities at the time claimed it was too precarious to retrieve their corpses. This didn't stop 4 friends of the deceased from going into the cave system and retrieving the bodies themselves, though. 7 weeks after the fatal incident, they descended into the dark and freezing waters to retrieve the bodies of their pals. This is one of the most horrifying caves in the world. It's actually nothing more than a pond on the surface, but if you dive into the pond, continue swimming down for nearly a mile, you eventually emerge inside of a massive cave. It's a hugely popular spot for diving hobbyists who want to admire the underground grotto, but it's only a place you should go if trained and experienced, because it's kind of a death trap. The 2 Finnish friends who died were part of a 5-man team embarking on a 5-hour dive at depths of over 300 feet. Only 3 of the 5 friends ever made it out of the cave, and they did so with debilitating decompression sickness. And yes, the friends did manage to bring out the bodies of the deceased. It was an operation that went on for 5 days. So what's the worst thing you've ever seen while doing water sports? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.